AVIOndemand.com. Automotive training you can receive anywhere, anytime. Your online training starts here.
The first thing we have to determine, especially if you have an air-fuel ratio type issue, is whether it's a speed density type or a mass airflow. In this 1999 Chevy S-10, it is a speed density. It uses a map sensor. Now notice here we have 4 codes. We have a P0420, a CAT code, a 172 rich code, and a camshaft position sensor code. Now, you know, in the real world, what you're going to think to yourself, well, where do I begin? Which code has the priority? If you recall back in your OBD2 training days, the manufacturers told us in the event of multiple codes, the number 1 priority code would be the code to route to the free stream. I can't tell you how many times I found that not to be true. So luckily on GM OBD2 systems and the fail record information, it would show you the mileage that the PCM, when the mileage on the vehicle when the PCM detected a code. So what we need to do is take a look at the fail record information on this GM. Can fail record information help us? You bet. Now the P0172, which is a rich code, and a P0420, which is a CAT code, have both set within the last 100 miles. The question you'd ask yourself, did the rich code set first or did the CAT code set first? Now think about that. It's a speed density system. If the catalytic converter was partially plugged up, what's that going to do to manifold vacuum? It's going to lower that, it's going to shift the map voltage high, it's going to fatten up the injectors. So it's easy to understand that a clogged CAT can easily set a rich code. On the flip side of the coin, you can say, well, if the rich code occurred first, it may have loaded up the CAT, caused the exhaust restriction, which again would lower the manifold vacuum, shifted the map voltage high, and obviously created the rich code. So what we're going to do, we're going to investigate fail record information, look at the mileage on the odometer when the PCM detected the codes, and see which code set first. Now on the cam sensor code, when we looked at the fail record information, it has not set for 1,680 miles, so that's probably a false code. But we're going to look at the fail record information and determine, did the rich code set first or did the CAT code set first? Fail record information is going to help us. So let's take a look at the fail record information on the rich code, the P0172. Notice on my screen, the odometer reading. Now this is a snap-on scanner. What the snap-on scanner is going to show you is the odometer reading when the PCM detected the rich code. In this case, you can see the vehicle had 59,560 miles on it when the PCM detected the rich code. Now the fail record information, if you look down to long-term fuel trim, was taking away minus 14%. You're well outside that plus or minus 10% window, so obviously you can see the PCM obviously has detected a rich condition, is trying to take fuel away. You also notice it was detected going down the road at 40 mile an hour at about 2,500 RPM. So there's some pretty good information here in this fail record information. Now we don't know at this point in time whether the rich code set first or the CAT code set first. One more time, notice the odometer reading on the P0172, 59,560 miles. Let's look at the fail record information for the CAT code, the P0420. The odometer reading said 57,998 miles. Now, going back to the rich code, 59,560. The CAT code, 50,998. Obviously, fail record told us the rich code set first. So we can make a determination here that maybe the engine is running too rich, plugged up the CAT, obviously shifted manifold vacuum low, map voltage high, injector on time fat. So the priority code obviously would be the rich code, the P0172, to set first. Now, we don't know if the CAT has gotten damaged. Maybe it got too hot with too much fuel in there, went into obviously the meltdown, what we call a stage 3 CAT damage. But before we do that, what we're going to do is use the map sensor for our electronic vacuum gauge. Now, depending on your scan tool, it may show you map values in kilopascals, and this chart is going to help you. If the place that you live in is less than 1,000 feet above sea level, you have the first column. For example, let's say you were driving down the road and a map sensor in the kilopascal scale showed you 91 kilopascals. You can see you have a lousy 3 inches of vacuum on that engine. So we gave you this chart in the event, here again, that your scan tool shows you map values in a kilopascal scale. You obviously would want to convert the kilopascals to vacuum. Now back in the bay, notice here, park idle, no load, there is virtually no fuel trim correction at all. But you just witnessed on the fail record information, we were taking away minus 14% fuel. On the P0172 rich code fail record information, and you pretty much saw the same thing on the P0420 fail record information. Notice the minus 14% fuel term corrections. Now, remember earlier we talked about calculating what your manifold vacuum is by looking at the barrow during key on engine off and the map during key on engine running. So you can see here we took the barrel reading at 30 inches minus 26.9 under road load conditions, and we were down to 3.1 inches of vacuum. Obviously, engine's not breathing properly. Now let's change some units. In this case, notice the scan tool on the map sensor is showing you kilopascals at 91. 91 kilopascals is 3 inches of vacuum under road loaded conditions going down the road at 40 miles an hour. So this engine is not breathing properly. Do we have enough information to determine a clogged cat? You bet we do. Now remember, this is a speed density system. If the cat is plugged up, partially or fully plugged up, manifold vacuum is going to be very weak, map voltage is going to be high, the injector on time is going to be very fat. So we still do not know whether the cat was plugged up first, causing rich code, or the rich code set first, causing the cat to plugged up. But remember, you went back to the fail record information and you detected, or the PCM detected, that the rich condition was flagged first. All right, now, let's take the car for a test drive. We're going down the road at steady RPM. Notice the total fuel trim minus 13%, okay, at 2,200 RPM. So it's time to do an exhaust back pressure test. So we pop out the upstream O2 sensor, we plug in an exhaust back pressure gauge at idle. Notice it's barely showing 2 psi. Park idle, no load. Well, let's put the car in reverse and power brake it and see what happens to exhaust back pressure. During a power brake condition in reverse, you can see we have 19 psi of exhaust back pressure. We have a clogged cat. Now we're going to replace the cat, and remember, we've taken care of the plugged cat by replacing the cat. We still would need to drive that car and make sure the fuel term values come back very clean within plus or minus 10% of zero.